Well, if that's got your taste buds going, step this way to the Farmhouse kitchen.
Our programme today is quite different from any other we've prepared for you. I'm not going to do any cooking at all, even though I have made this dish of baked cod steaks and also this stuffed mackerel with a lovely parsley and lemon stuffing. Today, all the work and the cooking, including this steamed snapper and this beautiful fish salad and this absolutely perfectly dressed crab, has been done by someone whose expertise you'll find absolutely riveting. There are many fish recipes in the 3 Farmhouse Kitchen paperback books, and when collected into this great big book, there are over 60 altogether. Some have been chosen for conversion to the microwave, along with some useful hints and tips about microwaving fish. There will be more information about the paperbacks later. I only wish some of the information and instruction David Shepherdson has for you could have been included in our books, but you must watch him very carefully. David, welcome to Farmhouse Kitchen. I'm delighted to have you here. How long have you been in the fish business?
For as long as I can remember, really. I think most of my family have been involved in the fish trade in one way or another.
Yes.
So.
You're the manager of Wynn's at fish shop in Huddersfield Market. I've never in my life seen such a variety of fish in such a small space.
Yes, it's there's plenty of fish per square foot. There isn't a lot of room to spare.
I know. It was a bit of a squeeze when I was there too. And you about, how many people work there?
We have about 17 people working in the shop itself.
Yes. Why is it that you're a small shop as you have actually managed to display and sell such a variety?
I think because we have customers from all over the world. Certainly from areas of the world where people like to eat fish, and so still looking for the kind of fish they remember from home.
Yes.
And you know, combined with the fact that we tend to put the work into it to make sure that you have a good show of fish, have good quality fish.
You're good fishmongers.
We try to be.
That's it. Yeah. Some of the names I've never heard in my life before.
Oh yes, some of them quite exotic.
Yes. Some of the really names that just don't sound like fish at all.
That's right. Yes. I mean, some of the varieties, I mean, such as barracudas, which you have predominantly from around the Caribbean, and sailfish. It's called sailfish because of the fin on the back is so big.
It's like a
sail. It simply looks like a sail on a small sailing boat.
Yes, most interesting.
But the variety almost is endless to what kind of fish.
The meat that we eat in this country, you know, pork, beef, lamb.
Three basics.
And yet, when you look at fish, it's amazing that we're...
Precisely.
Absolutely wonderful.
I mean, we like to try and think that most days of the week we will put on average 50 to 60 varieties of fish.
Really?
On the window.
And what about the price range? I know, you know...
The prices are like the varieties. They vary. There's so much.
The cheapest?
Anything from about 40, 45 pence a pound, up to the sort of smoked salmon and even the sturgeon. In which case you're looking at...
Sturgeon,
you're looking
royal
at
fish.
That's right, buying with a checkbook. So,
with a checkbook.
That's right, yes.
Well, I've never heard of that before, but
the
anyway.
variety is there.
Tremendous, yes. It's terribly impressive. So just let's have a look at this wonderful display you put up for us here.
Yeah.
Shall we start with the white fish we've got on show and the more ordinary variety?
Yeah, the sort of what we class as standard bread and butter fish. If you look at things like cod, which everybody knows cod.
Everybody knows.
This, which is whiting.
I mean,
most people have seen whiting.
Head on. Yeah.
That's the whole ones. Normally you would find it in fillets.
Yes, that's
or
the way I've seen it.
The place used to get it many years ago, these have skinned and curled. When it's to be skinned, then the whole fish would be curled around, biting its own tail.
Oh, yes, I've seen
then it would
pictures
be
of that.
Dipped in egg and breadcrumbs and deep fried. That was quite common many years ago.
Sounds lovely.
Then we have lemon soles, which again must be a common fish, a fairly standard fish.
Yes.
And then on to plaice.
Plaice, good old...
Everybody knows plaice.
Good old plaice, yes. And what about the other white fish we have? Coley, is this coley? Yes,
which has gained popularity a lot over the years, probably because as some of the other fish became more expensive.
Yes.
The coley kept his price down and started looking looking more reasonable.
good. And actually, the flavour of Coley is delicious.
It is.
And it's about half the price of haddock,
yes, a lot
isn't
cheaper,
it?
a lot cheaper.
It's wonderful. So that's very nice to know. Now, what about some of the more exotic fish that you've got
the
here?
exotics.
Yes.
We have things like this, which is a trevally jack.
A what?
A trevally jack, that's called.
Trevally jack.
This one actually comes from New Zealand.
He looks a bit blue.
He is. He has a sort of a bluey-greeny tint to him, really. But again, basically a warm water fish. This one here, which we've all eaten that. That's a sardine.
Yes, I bet a lot of people don't know what a sardine looks like out of the tin.
But, I mean, if you go to the Mediterranean for your holidays, Spain or Greece,
Grilled.
they grill them on the beach, and they're
Absolutely gorgeous, yeah.
we have this one, which is called a croaker.
Croaker?
Croaker, which is eaten an awful lot in Southeast Asia, and is extremely popular.
Funny name.
And this one, which is red mullet.
I know that one,
The red mullet we do actually get around the British coast, but it does tend to be quite expensive. It certainly is a very, very nice fish. This one actually is a grey mullet. Again, grey mullet, although they're both called mullets.
They're both
They're not the same family, they're
not?
entirely different. We do get them around the British coast, but they tend to be more popular on the continent than they are here.
I see.
So again, a very
What's
nice
this
fish.
wee fella here?
That one is called a chichai.
A what?
A chichai.
Chichai.
Yeah, that's...
Sounds like
it's
a panda.
Yeah, the proper name is called horse mackerel.
Horse mackerel.
Yeah, it's like rather like a mackerel, but not as rich and oily.
I see. And is
Quite
that
nice little
grilled
fish.
as well?
Yeah, they tend to be grilled or fried.
Wonderful.
There's also actually a freshwater fish.
What's that?
Which,
pinky sort of colour.
Yeah, that's actually freshwater bream. We find that the most people who buy freshwater fish tend to be people who are probably from Eastern Europe.
Used to doing
yes,
that,
Poland,
yes.
Hungary, places like this we have a lot.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of Asian people buy it because they often come from areas which are so far from the sea that the only kind of fish you can get
And
is
all the
freshwater.
gorgeous smoked fish at the
And all
bottom
smoked
there.
fish,
Terrific
yes.
variety. Cod here, isn't it?
That's the cured cod.
And peppered mackerel. Smokies.
Yeah,
no,
this
smoked
one, that's Manx skipper.
Kippers.
Which is the undyed
very
kippers.
nice. And this at the bottom?
That's smoked trout.
That's lovely.
And then the Scots kippers.
Of course.
And the smoked haddock.
Again. And
And the Arbroath smoky.
from my neck of the woods.
That's right.
And kippers again.
boneless kippers.
And the shellfish.
The shellfish, of course, being this time of the year, the shellfish is only just beginning. But we have some oysters, which are, of course, now available all year round.
That's a
Whereas
good
about the
thing,
thing about
yes,
an hour in the
indeed,
month isn't true anymore.
And
They're now
the
available
crab.
all year round. And the
Now,
crab.
tell me the price of this.
And
I'll try
this
not
is
to
where
feed.
we're looking at about, to buy that at about between 14 and 15 pounds in money.
Yes, that's
for a lobster
a
like
very
that.
expensive
That's
upmarket
the best
fish.
bit.
Well,
Yes.
that's grand hearing about all these different varieties, and you're going to show me how you deal with them. We're
We are.
starting off with plaice.
Right. I mean, everybody knows a little bit about plaice. I'm sure everybody's eaten plaice.
Yes, indeed. And what
I
do I
mean,
look for
we're looking
buying
for
a nice plaice?
A nice bright plaice. We're looking for the nice bright spots which you can see standing out.
Clear, yes.
Nice firm flesh.
Yes,
See, there's no indentation.
I see.
And
It
just that
doesn't.
nice sort of shine. It has a lovely kind of sheen onto it.
You like your job. I can see by the way you stroke the
That's
fish,
it.
don't you?
So if we just give the knife
First
a
job.
bit of a sharpen.
Yes. I think we don't sharpen our
We
knives
don't.
often enough,
We
do
tend not to look after them properly.
Now what are you going to do?
So we just make a cut around the head. Then we run the knife down. And we're going to take the
You
fillet.
make it look so easy, David.
Well, it's just plenty of practice, I think.
Yeah.
There we are, just taking that fillet off there.
That's lovely.
That's one. Then we turn him over, and we're just going to do the same
Do the
again.
same again. I see you use carbon steel knives.
Yes, I mean, a lot of knives are stainless steel. I personally prefer
Yes,
carbon.
I do too. They're so much easier to sharpen.
That's
I
right,
love
yeah.
them.
I find they tend to hold an edge
They hold it
an
longer.
awful lot better than stainless steel.
How long do your knives last?
Not very long.
No, I bet not.
A knife like that will probably last me about 12 months.
Really? Yes. Oh, well. How beautiful. Now, you're going to do a coley now, aren't you?
Yaps.
Here we are.
So this is coley being a round fish. This
What
is
do you mean
slightly
round? Is that
What
the-
we class as round fish, cod, coley,
I see.
haddock.
Yes,
are round fish. Plaice, lemon sole are flat fish.
I see.
So we cut him down the back.
Yes.
Nice
I can
straight
hear
cut.
it rippling
A
down
nice
the bone there, yeah.
Scratch down the bone. You can see we've cut all the way down here.
We showed how that goes
Leaving-
beautifully.
That's
Lovely, that.
Then we continue the cut down. And just cut him over the
Right
ribs.
over. Very
Take-
neat.
That one off.
And here it is ready.
Just a bit of trimming.
Yes, it does the darker flesh, but when it's cooked,
yes.
it does go quite white.
It does.
doesn't
It has that sort of grey-pink
yes.
kind of
But
look
good
about
flavour.
it.
Very
Excellent
good.
flavour.
Lovely.
And we do the same again down the back. So,
Very nice.
a nice cut down the back, leaving the backbone on one
Yes,
side.
lovely. Well, we're going on now to mackerel, aren't we? And you have two cuts to show in a mackerel. And one of them I'm really well, I want to let everybody see how you did
Right.
it, because that's the one I have on the table.
So what we're going to do is, like the mackerel which you use for the stuffing,
Yes.
we're going to split him down the back and take the bone out, but leave a nice big sort of pocket around the stomach.
Unusual to take the bone out from the back, isn't it?
So we just split him down the back along the backbone, very similar. See, the backbone's all down here.
Just show it, yeah.
Very similar to what we did on the coley. Take him all the way down. And from there we remove
The guts.
any of the gut or the inside that's in there. Just give your hands a wipe and turn him over. And
Do the same again.
same again on this side. Just removing that. You can see there's the backbone from there. Cut over the ribs. And that's it.
Very accurate. And on to herring. A good cheap buy,
Oh, this
isn't
is
it? This is a good,
one of the
buy.
greatest ever fish, I think, is the herring.
You're fond of herring.
I like
are you?
herrings very much.
Me too. I love them dipped in oatmeal and grilled.
So what we're going to do actually is, it's called a block fillet. So we're going to take off the fillets.
Oh,
There we are.
how tidy.
Rather like that. We've actually got a nice row in this one as well.
Ah, what do you do with these rows? Soft rows.
That's the soft row. It varies a little bit. You can actually grill them, or you can just sort of very lightly fry them in butter.
And would you put them straight under the grill, or put them in, dip them in a bit of butter?
You find a lot of people don't like handling them because they tend to be rather messy.
They're very soft, aren't
But
they?
if you just sort of pour a bit of boiling water on them, just to blanch them.
That'll stiffen them up a wee bit,
stiffen
won't
them.
it?
So if we take the row out as well,
So
we
there
can
it
see the
is.
row.
Lovely.
There we are. Two nice rows.
Yes, well, that's 2 lots of food for the price
That's
of
right,
one.
yes. That's tea and supper, isn't it?
Tea supper.
So
Very good.
it's just cleaner.
And we're going on now to cod.
That's right.
That's a much bigger fish.
That's
isn't it?
quite a lot larger.
And you need a lot heavier equipment, I think,
Yes,
to
we're actually
bang
going
it
to cut
about, don't you?
We're actually going to cut
A
some
real
steaks
big,
off this one.
heavy knife.
Let's get the knife and just give a sharp.
Cracking knife, isn't
They're
it?
quite a heavy knife like this,
I
but it
bet.
goes nicely through the bone.
Yes.
So we just trim the sides off a little.
Uh-huh.
Now we cut the steaks.
Yes. I like the steaks at this end with the little
With the-
legs
yes.
down so that it holds round the stuffing. It
Which-
makes it look neat, doesn't
It's
it?
funny, you find a lot of people tend to like the bottom steaks where it's completely round.
Yes, do they?
Because they just look neater.
Yes.
I'm going to have a bit of noise now, so...
My fishmonger tells me that cod steaks are not so popular as they used to be.
Yeah, you find a lot of people don't like bones.
Bones, yeah.
But to me, if you cook the fish on the bone, you're going to get the flavour from the bone
Sweeter.
actually into the
It's
flesh.
the old story, isn't it? That meat is sweeter next to the bone.
That's right, yes. So we just
Very good.
take those off.
Very swiftly done. Microwaving's made a big difference of eating a fish, hasn't it?
It has, yes.
Because this sort of thing cooks so beautifully in the microwave. It's so quick and so easy and full of moisture. There's just no chance of overcooking it.
That's right, and it retains all the flavour in the fish.
It does. It's very, very good indeed. Now, I know you're a keen cook, David.
Right.
And we're going on to something rather unusual, I think. Possibly, I certainly don't think about it very often, but a fish salad.
Yes. Here we are. So we tend in summertime to look towards salads as being lettuce and tomato.
Yes, the usual, and the bit of
and
cold
that.
ham.
So what we're simply doing is using fish and mixing fish with cooked rice.
I see, and you've got them out at the front there. The
Yeah, so
kinds.
what we're going to use, we've got sort of haddock fillet, which is quite ordinary and everybody knows about. We've got a little bit of cured cod, and we've also got some coley fillet, which makes it a little bit cheaper.
I see.
And the expensive bit of it, of course, it was a few
Prawns,
prawns.
of course,
So you
yeah.
could leave it out, but I mean, it's just up to you. It's
And
just
how
that
did
little
you
bit extra.
cook your fish? Tell
The
me
fish was
that.
simply very lightly poached in water with about a teaspoonful of vinegar.
Really, yes.
So if you just have a look, That's
I'm
the smoked
surprised
fish.
that you do it in water. We used to always do it in milk.
Yeah,
but,
it's just a matter of personal taste.
and a bit of
there's the
vinegar
white.
in as well.
Yeah,
And I
it's,
see you've
I
cooked them
prefer it.
separately.
Yeah, because you find that the yellow from the cod tends to stain it.
So you've chopped it all
So
up
we've
now,
chopped
and
it
we're
up.
ready for the next stage.
That's right.
And this is a bowl of
This
rice.
is a bowl of cooked rice.
How do you
it's
cook
still
your
warm.
rice?
I personally don't. How much? I cheat. I can't cook rice. My wife
Can't
does
you?
it for me.
You're only good on the
That's
fish.
right. That's right.
Fish department.
So,
in it goes.
Then we're going to mix this in now.
Good big chunks, I notice.
Yeah, it's nice to have texture. I think much better than just having little tiny
Little pieces.
pieces.
I agree with you. Texture is very important. I know you're very keen on presenting your food nicely as well.
Yes, I think it has to look good.
You're
not
very
only
keen
just
on
tasting.
that.
So if we mix that like that,
So,
then we're going to add some chopped parsley.
parsley. Can't
Again.
do without parsley.
Colour and flavour.
Lovely.
So we just give that
A lot of people think they
bit of a
don't eat
stir.
parsley, shouldn't eat parsley,
Yes,
but it's
yes.
so lovely.
You assume it just sits there to make it
Yes,
a green colour.
yes.
Now goes in the prawns.
It's lovely seeing somebody else doing the work
Yes,
instead of me.
that's right.
And your decorative bits, is this red
right.
pepper you've got out here?
That's right. We've got red pepper and we've got limes, as opposed to lemon.
To lemon. Do you prefer that?
It just gives an alternative.
You think
a
it's
little bit
sharper
different.
flavour, do you?
Yes,
And this is a very posh lettuce you've got
Oh,
around
this
the
is
edge
the
here.
continental variety of lettuce, which has a sort of a maroon.
Pinky colour.
Yes,
great.
it's sort of, again, it just sort
Yes,
of, that little bit different.
is terribly
Stands out.
appetising.
Right, there we are.
Now what about our
Now
red?
then, what we're going to do, just sprinkle
Few here
some
and
little
there.
pieces of
And
very,
lastly,
very thinly sliced red pepper.
this is the thing that I was quite surprised about.
Ah, yes.
Butter?
This is the
Shall
naughty
I
bit.
do it for you?
You can, yes. Some melted butter.
Just
or you
the
could use
last-
an oil and lemon juice.
Could you? A dressing
Yes,
as well?
but I mean, butters always has that nice,
Beautiful.
rich kind of
Wow.
taste.
I
So
bet
if you just
that
stick
is
some pieces of
delicious.
lime on, and there we are. It looks quite exotic, doesn't it?
It does. I think you've done very well to do
Right.
fish salad.
Thank you.
Now we're going on to a hot fish now.
Right, this one's a
What
little
have
bit
you
different.
got here? Looks like a Chinese wok.
It
Have you
is. It's a
tried?
wok with a Chinese steamer on it.
Uh-huh.
I actually quite like steamed fish.
Yes.
And steaming is probably one of the best ways of cooking fish.
Again, keeping the moisture.
Keeps it moist, you keep the flavour. So what we've actually got here is a snapper. In fact, that's
That lovely.
That's the snapper, a nice
Isn't
sort of
it
pinky-
pretty? It's got
pinky
like
fish.
mother of pearl, isn't it? Where's
It's-
that from?
again, any of these sort of warm waters. A lot in Southeast Asia or the Caribbean.
Yes, yes.
Also around the Mediterranean. It's also an ideal fish for steaming because it's not too thick.
No, that's
But
true.
it steams quite easily. We see
Oh,
there.
that's lovely.
So what we've actually done here,
That's a perforated basket, so the steam's
That's
coming
right,
right
yeah.
up round it, but the fish is sitting on a plate.
so we've got the fish on the plate with some spring onions
Yes.
and the fish on top of that, Chinese dried mushrooms and pieces
Ginger.
of fresh ginger.
And it absorbs these flavours,
It
presumably,
just helps to
as it's cooking.
improve the flavour of it. So if you just lift him out, let's try not
Is
to
this
burn
one
myself.
of your favourites? I think
Yes,
it must
it's
be,
quite a
yes.
light but quite enjoyable dish.
Yes, very nice indeed.
So we just have to get rid of all our bits and pieces on here. Burning our fingers while we're doing it.
Yes,
Take those out.
it's very much in the Chinese way with the salad onions, isn't it?
Yes, and
And I
then
can smell the ginger in that
Oh, yes,
sauce
it's-
that's there. It's mixed in.
it's quite powerful.
Oh, that's rather clever.
Yes, I've just seen that there.
Yes,
Right, and we're
beautiful.
actually going to finish this off now with some very hot oil.
Oh, yes.
And then
What
a
does the
little,
hot oil do
it just
to
crisps up the skin. And it just adds that little bit of moist flavour into it.
to it?
So some oil and about a tablespoon of soy sauce.
I
Just
see.
to vary the flavours. And just a few little
Some little tassels.
spring onions on the top.
Very nice. And
Like
there
that.
it is.
And there we are.
Beautiful. Well, that's so simple, and I bet it's delicious. Now,
Right.
what about crabs, another favourite of mine?
And of course, crabs are now just coming into season.
Yes, indeed.
So we've got a crab here.
That looks a nice one.
Which we'll dress. Of course, crabs, you can buy them at your fishmongers or you can buy them at the seaside. If you go on a holiday at the seaside this year, you can always buy a crab on
That's
there.
right, you do.
Although you usually find that if you buy them there, they won't dress them for you.
No, you have to do it
You
yourself.
have to do it yourself, you know.
Yes,
Whereas your
yes.
fishmonger either dress it for you or you will probably have dressed crabs
Exactly.
or already
But
done.
before we start dressing it, tell me, when I go to the fishmonger, what do I look for when I want a really good crab?
Yeah, well, most people usually want the biggest one they can see, and they assume that
good
that's going to be full
value.
of meat. And
Yes.
of course, it isn't always like that.
No.
You may find a very large crab has very little meat in it. So what you really want is a crab which, something about that size, that feels very, very heavy. So a small crab, but heavy.
Feels heavy for
That's
its
the best
appearance.
value.
Yes,
Yeah.
good. Well, I'll remember that next time I
Right.
go. Well, let's have a go at dressing
Okay,
it.
so the first thing we have to do is to remove the bottom part of the crab from the top of the shell.
see.
And so we just pull him apart like that.
It didn't need a lot of effort,
It's
did
not
it?
too hard.
No. Well, the dreaded fingers.
That's it, the
Let's
dreaded,
deal
the
with
dreaded
them.
dead man's fingers.
Yes.
Everybody assumes that they're poisonous,
Yes.
which they're not.
They're not.
It's simply the gill. Like all other fish, they have gills, and the shellfish is exactly the same. They don't look very nice.
They're grey, aren't they?
They're sort of a grey colour. You can see what they're like just there.
Yes.
Yeah, they're sort of rather feathery.
Yes.
They have very little flavour at all. They're certainly not harmful, but a sort of a rather nasty kind of texture.
Yes.
But certainly it won't hurt you at all.
Well, that's good to know. There's nothing in a crab that will be
That's right.
harmful to you.
So we pull the dead man's fingers or the gill or
Go
around this
around
area,
that
which
bit
is
there.
called the crown.
The crown.
So if we pick all the bits off, like that, that's it. And then we want to work in the other part of the shell, which is the top half of the shell.
Yes.
You see, some of them often break off
And they're lying in
into
there.
there. So we just pick them out. It's not too
They're
hard.
quite easy to recognise,
Oh,
aren't
yes,
they?
they stand out quite easily. It's no problem finding them. So having done that, we then want a really clean cloth. It must be
Yes.
clean. And then we want to wipe
Yes,
around
'cause it's quite
just the outside of the
muddy
shell.
looking, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's just
Yes.
the bit of dirt which collects when I mean,
When
like
it's
if you
been
boil
cooked.
potatoes or anything,
Yes.
you always get that little bit of scum on the top of the water. It's the same with crabs.
Soon cleans out.
So you just give it a wipe around. Right, we then remove the other part, which is the part just here.
And what's that?
That's called the sandbox. It's actually the stomach. So what we have to do is just push it out with your thumbs. Fairly easy.
Quite.
Lift it out.
Not too much effort to get that out
That's
either.
all there is to it.
All in one piece.
Yeah.
Good.
So we throw that away. The next thing we use, which is, well, what I use, is an oyster knife.
What's that? It's a very
yeah,
odd-looking gadget,
That's
isn't
right.
it?
It's actually, they call them oyster knives because that's what they were made for, is opening oysters with.
Really? And you use this all the time for...
All kinds of things. It's endless, the varieties of uses which an oyster knife have. And certainly the most ideal implement for dressing crabs with.
I promised myself I wouldn't ever buy any more gadgets and knives. I have hundreds, but I think I'll have one of
They
these.
are very, very useful.
Now,
So
let's
if
have
you
a
can see
look.
the line
Yes.
around there, we're actually going to remove that piece of shell.
And it comes
It
out...
comes out quite
I
easily.
like it beautifully, neatly,
And the
isn't
same
it?
again on this side. Just pull him out.
Very simple. Now, all that meat in there
All
now,
that is now edible.
Every
So there's
bit.
a small piece of shell across the back there.
the dark bit.
And that we just trim off with a pair of scissors.
I see.
That. Right, so we have all dark meat in there.
Yes,
In the middle of the crown, again with more dark meat.
I see.
So we take all the meat out of there and put them into
Into the shell.
You must be careful you don't break any of the small shell inside,
In the middle.
or else we end up with sort of horrible nasty crunchy bits which you get sometimes in crab.
Yes.
So that's
quite a big bit of meat there. This is
that's the coral.
orange
Yes,
coral.
that's the coral.
Gorgeous
You can
colour.
actually take the coral out and eat it separately if you like, you know.
Yes, and use it as a decoration too,
That's
I
right,
suppose.
yeah.
Chop it up and make a line down the middle.
So we just
What would you pay for a dressed crab that
a crab
size?
about this size is roughly around the 180, 190 kind of price.
Very good value.
It's not bad. I mean, there will be enough on this to feed two.
Anyway,
very,
yes,
very nicely.
Yes, especially when you think of the price of that lobster.
Oh, certainly, yes. We're now on to the claws where the white meat is.
Let's see.
Like that. So these come off the body quite easily, just simple turn.
I
Take
often
them off.
see big claws for sale in my fish
Yeah.
rooms, yes.
Yeah, people tend to like the white meat more. I personally like the brown meat.
It's more flavour,
It has
aren't
more
they?
flavour, and it's more
Yes.
moist. So we're just a
Ah,
sharp tan.
another use for your oyster.
That's
there.
it. It's ideal for this. If you leave a little piece on the shell like that,
Hold it
it
in.
just gives it. You just keep the nippers on. It looks that bit more attractive.
Very attractive, the dark colour. I've seen these deep fried in a Chinese
That's right,
restaurant.
yes.
Very
So
nice.
we take that one there like that. Then all the rest of the white meat,
Fish it all
we
out.
just pick it out of there,
Yes.
put it into the shell. There's nothing hard about dressing crabs. It is quite straightforward. It's just
Yes,
common sense, I would say,
yes.
really.
Very nice indeed.
So make sure we get all the meat.
Well, we haven't time to quite finish that, David, but if you look at the front there, show them the nice one we have. They're all dressed and ready for eating, with a bit of lime there instead
that's
of
it.
lemon. Very beautiful it is too. Absolutely lovely. And thank you so much for coming. It's
Thank
been
you.
very, very interesting. Absolutely fascinating altogether.
Thank you very much.
Next time I shall be making homemade sweets and preserves, and I hope you will be watching. But now David and I will say cheerio.
Bye-bye.
We'll visit the farmhouse kitchen again next week at the earlier time of 1:30.
Farmhouse kitchen books 1, 2 and 3 are available still at £2.55 each, including postage and packing. And the microwave cookbook is available priced £2.95, including post and packing. All the books are available from bookshops and newsagents, or can be obtained by sending a cheque or postal order to Farmhouse Kitchen, Admail 35, Leeds, LS3 1XY.
Stay with us now because after the break we're going to take the high road to Glendarach.